Hi, my name is Carolyn. I want to share some beautiful experiences that I, my friends, and my family had after my son passed away. In November of 2021, he lost his battle with alcohol. The main experience I want to share today is that about 2 months after my son passed, a friend helped me to connect with a very kind and loving medium named Cynthia Slon. She told me that the light around my son was stunning and that he was a very high vibrational being. She told me many wonderful things that he was saying as well. He felt like he had a very blessed life here on earth and that he was in a very blissed out state. He was in the process of building a cathedral with some family members, my dad, my brother, his other grandpa, and a lot of other people. He said that he was going to be with me until the end of my life. So this confused me because if he was building a cathedral, how could he be with me? And at this point, I found out that he was able to be in more than one place at a time. Then he told us that I would be participating in writing a book about angels. But my grief at that time was so deep and so painful that I said, I can't even begin to think about something like that. He said, okay, just let us know when you are ready. So there were some beautiful dreams that helped me be able to function and feel like he was really okay. The first one was by my husband. He is Billy's stepdad. 3 days after he passed, he had a very real dream where he and Billy were in a cabin, and he described Billy as being full of light with a big smile on his face and looking quite a bit younger, which Billy passed when he was 50 years old. Bob suggested they walk out on the porch, and as they did, Bob said, "Look, Billy, there's a comet coming." And as Billy looked up, this comet, this light, came right down and went right into Billy, and then he disappeared. I take that like somebody was coming to escort him back. The next beautiful experience was a dream that happened exactly 1 month to the day from the day that he passed, November 17th. So this is December 17th. It was experienced by my dear friend Emma. So she was coming over with her twin sister Gloria to say the rosary with my sister and I. And so we were in the process of moving my sister's things downstairs. And so Emma sat in the living room and she fell asleep. So when she woke up, that sleep brought her back to her dream in the middle of the night, which woke her up at 3:30 in the morning. And she came over to me from the chair. I was sitting in the couch. She had tears in her eyes and her hands were folded. And she said, "I have to tell you something." I said, okay. So she said, "You know how the Virgin de Guadalupe is always holding her hands folded?" And she had her hands folded. I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I had this dream. It woke me up at 3:30 in the morning. And I saw Billy with the Virgin de Guadalupe. And her one hand was down. And it turns out she was holding Billy's hand. And he was surrounded by so much light, the light was coming out of his back. So at this point, this helped my heart so much because not only was he okay, he is with the Blessed Mother. And he's got all this light. And he's so happy. Okay, so I had a dream where I experienced myself going to where he was, which my experience is that I believe I went to heaven because where he was, everything was pure white. He was standing up on this pure white platform with pure white railings, and he was wearing the blue t-shirt and jeans, and my favorite picture that I keep around the house, one of them. And the minute he saw me, he was so happy, and he didn't have to walk. He was just like in a second, he was right in front of me. And I wish I had spent the time to talk to him, but I've been craving so badly to hug him that I asked him if I could hug him, and he said yes. And then when I hugged him, he didn't have a body, so this was really fulfilling and beautiful. The way I feel like he set everything up, that was so beautiful. But it was also sad because I couldn't hug his body. So anyway, I left. So that was a wonderful experience, but it was also a sad experience. But I did experience myself lifting a veil and leaving. Now, 2 years later, after I had first spoken to him through Cynthia, telling me that I was going to be participating in writing a book about angels, I said, okay, I'm ready. So the next morning, as I'm waking from sleep, I get my first vision of the first painting in the book. And the next morning, I got the next one. And this salmon and rose color are just magnificent in my vision. They didn't come that magnificent in the book, but it was just beautiful colors. And there was always something missing in the visions I would get for the book, which she said I would be getting pictures from him that would be in the book. And so I always had to add something. In the seashell one, there was a seashell missing, and then I did the sunset. And so I had to add that. And in the fluffy dog, I saw the Grecian stand and the fluffy dog, and I knew somebody was there, so I added the lady. And then as time went on, I had another experience. It was a different medium, but her bedside manner, you would say, wasn't as nice, but she did give me some information. And I had no clue what to do for the last painting. And so she asked if birds meant anything to me, and I said, I was confused, and then she said, he's showing me white birds soaring. So that's the last painting and the last poem in the book. And then my last experience with him giving me a vision in the book was the cover. I realized that I didn't have a cover. And I went downstairs and sat in the room where we have a lot of his pictures. And the cover of the book, the angel, the title, the second part of the title, everything came just in like a flash. And so then I quickly painted that. And it was just like a miracle. And so then he did say that this book would help a lot of people. So I feel like it's my responsibility to get it out there to people. But I do want to end with my last two dreams, my more recent dreams. I had a dream where I feel like once again I was transported to where he was. But this time he was with a group of people, and there was a building in the back, and the only thing I could see was his eyes. He was in the group, but I knew it was him. And I know we had a conversation, but I can't remember what it was. And so because of that dream, and then I also found out from my second communication with Cynthia that he's teaching now. He's teaching children, the child within adults, and he's working with Mother Earth. So he says he's graduated from before, where he was a major guide and a light being. And so because of that dream where I couldn't see him, recently, just a matter of weeks ago, in the evening, I sat on my bed and I just said out loud, I just want to see him enough that I know he was my boy. So that night, I go to where he is again. I feel like I was escorted by this beautiful lady. She was just the sweetest, loving lady. And I didn't actually look at her, but I knew she had dark hair. So she was standing with me, and she was so happy for me. Because in my mind, I thought I was going to see my child, Billy. And so we are standing outside his classroom door, and I see straight ahead. I see two visions of him as a child. So I know this is Billy. And so I'm so excited because I hear him talking, and I think it's my child talking in front of his classroom. So it turns out when he opened the door, once again, I could just see this big smile on his face. I couldn't see what he looks like. And I'm concluding that this happens because I think he looks different in heaven, and they know better than we do what would be too hard for us. So he was so happy to see me, and the hug I've been waiting for all this time, he just came around, he started hugging me, and this experience of love, this rose-colored, flowing love, just kept going like this between us, and he just kept holding on, because I went to like pull him away like you do when you're hugging someone, you want to say something. He just kept holding on, and the love just kept flowing back and forth. And then I started having a sad thought, because I said to him, I'm so proud of you. And I thought, I wish I had said that to him more when he was a child. And as I had this sad thought, I could see myself leaving. I was leaving this beautiful place. And so my conclusion is that in heaven, those sad thoughts don't get sustained there. So that was a good lesson for me for next time. And so that's all I have to say as far as these beautiful experiences. And I do want to say, to just love everyone in your life, no matter what they're dealing with or what they're going through. Because my son said he chose this addiction, this challenge, and some other things to have the experience of feeling less than. So I've learned that we choose our experiences. And so you can know that just love, learn to love unconditionally, learn forgiveness, and be non-judgmental. Okay, have a nice day.